Hi, I'm Sam Berns, and today I want you to pause for a moment and truly listen. I want you to take a deep look at where you are heading in life. I'm not referring to your objectives or ambitions. I'm not talking about the aspirations you claim to have or the things you say you desire. I'm talking about your actions, the way you are spending your time. Because if there's one thing that is inevitable, it's the passage of time. It's a concept we all experience, but not everyone handles it the same way. Here's something I always say: time is far more precious than money. You can always earn more money, but you can't get back lost time. Do you understand the profoundness of this thought? As we speak, time is ticking away. It doesn't stop. Each passing second is one less in your life. Let me pose a question that might make you feel uneasy. How are you spending the time you have today? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but right now. You see, we are all given the same 24 hours at the start of each day. June, 340 minutes, 86,400 seconds. It's a priceless gift, yet what are you doing with it? Are you investing it to grow, to build, to truly experience life, or are you squandering it on trivial distractions that lead nowhere? Let me share a story with you. A while ago, a young man approached me asking how he could transform his life. He was stuck, wasting time and feeling miserable. He said, "Sam, I don't have enough time to do what I really want." You know what my response was? I told him, "It's not that you don't have time, it's that you aren't using the time you have wisely." And here lies the crucial point. It's not about the amount of time you have, but rather how you choose to use it. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I'll do it tomorrow"? How many opportunities have you let slip by because you thought there would always be more time, that a perfect moment would come? Let me tell you something. That perfect moment does not exist. If you continue to wait, if you keep putting things off, one day you'll wake up and realize that time has run out. Imagine this scenario. You are sitting in a massive stadium surrounded by countless people. At the center of the field, there is a giant clock, and that clock represents your life. But here's the unsettling part. You have no idea how many hours, minutes, or seconds remain on that clock. What would you do if you knew that you only had 24 hours or just a year left? How would your decisions shift? The issue is not that we don't know. The problem is that we live as if we had all the time in the world, and that, my friend, is a dangerous illusion. I want you to pause for a moment and think about this. How many people do you know who are stuck in a daily cycle they despise? They get up, go to a job they don't care for, come home, sit in front of the TV, and repeat the same routine day after day, year after year. They're alive, but they aren't really living. And you are living. It's easy to blame circumstances, fate, or luck. But here's the truth. You are the only one responsible for how you spend your time. No one else can make that decision for you. There's a huge difference between being busy and being productive. Many people are constantly busy, but they're not accomplishing anything of value. They fill their lives with trivial tasks, excuses, and activities that lead them nowhere, and by the end of the day, all they're left with is the feeling of time wasted. Let me tell you something important. You don't need more time to change your life. What you need is to start using the time you already have more wisely. In the next few moments, I want you to imagine your life as a book. Each day is a new page. What are you writing on those pages? Is it a story of achievements, overcoming challenges, learning and love? Or is it one filled with regrets, excuses, and missed opportunities? The good news is that you can change the story at any point. No matter how many pages you've already written, you can always start a new chapter. But you cannot wait any longer. You can't wait for the perfect conditions because time doesn't wait. So, what will you do now? Will you continue wasting your life, or will you take control of your time? Let me remind you of something. Time does not belong to you. You can't own it and you can't hold on to it. The only thing you can do is decide how to use it. Time isn't your enemy, it's your ally, if you use it wisely. I'm going to pause for a moment, not because the message is over, but because I want you to reflect on what you're doing with your time. What decisions are you making today to ensure you're not squandering your life? Because remember, time is slipping away. Now that we've discussed the value of time, let's think about something essential. What's stopping you? What's holding you back from breaking free from that state of inaction or mediocrity? More often than not, it's not the lack of time. No, it's fear, doubt, and procrastination. These are the chains you've placed on yourself. Let me share a story with you. Years ago, I met a man who had incredible talent in business. He had brilliant ideas, a clear vision, but he never took any action. Every time we talked, he would say, "Sam, I have this revolutionary plan, but I always find an excuse not to act. It's not the right time yet. I need more preparation. Maybe next year. Someday." I got tired of hearing it and finally told him, "You know what the real issue is? It's not your plan. It's not the market. It's you. You're holding yourself back from success because you're afraid of failing. Fear is one of the greatest thieves of time. But here's the trick. Fear never fully disappears. The only thing that changes is how you choose to deal with it. Will you let it paralyze you, or will you use it as fuel to move forward?" And what about procrastination? That nasty habit of saying, "I'll do it tomorrow." Procrastination is a silent thief. It steals your opportunities, your growth, and worst of all, it steals your time. It does so subtly, so quietly that you don't even realize it until it's too late. Look, I'm not here to judge you. We've all fallen into that trap at some point, but the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is in recognizing that habit and breaking it before it's too late. I want you to think about something right now. Take inventory of your time. How much of your day do you spend doing things that truly matter? How much time do you invest in your dreams, your goals, and the things you truly want to achieve? And now, how much time do you waste on things that bring you nothing? Social media, mindless TV shows, pointless conversations. The problem isn't that distractions exist, it's that you allow them to control your life. Let me give you a little metaphor that I often use. Let's imagine you have a bucket full of water. That bucket represents your energy and time. Every day, you make small holes in that bucket with things that don't matter. What happens at the end of the day? The bucket is empty. But if you plug those holes and focus that water in one direction, you create a powerful force that can move mountains. That's the power of focus. You can't do everything, but you can focus on what truly matters. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, "Sam, that sounds great, but how do I do it?" First, you need clarity. You can't manage your time if you don't know where you want to go. Without clear goals, your time will be wasted on things that don't align with your true desires. The second essential thing you need is self-discipline. This means making tough decisions, sometimes having to say no to things you enjoy in order to say yes to what matters most. Third, you need a strategy. Without a clear plan, it's easy to lose focus and drift off course. Each night, before you go to bed, ask yourself, what did I do today that brought me closer to my goals? What can I do tomorrow to make even greater strides? Time is a limited resource, but here's the amazing part. While you can't add more hours to the day, you can amplify the effect of each hour through focus, discipline, and consistent action. And here's the most crucial part. Don't wait for everything to be perfect before you begin. The perfect moment doesn't exist. All you have is now. Imagine how your life could look a year from now if you started today. Picture where you could be in 5 years if you dedicated yourself to making the most of each day. Now, think about the opposite. What will your life look like if you keep postponing? You know what one of the greatest regrets people express on their deathbeds is? It's not that they worked too hard or took too many risks. It's not that they lived too fully. It's that they didn't make the best use of the time they had. I want you to avoid reaching that point. I want you, when you look back on your life, to be able to say, "I did the best I could with the time I was given. I lived fully. I grew. I loved. I learned. I gave my best." So today I challenge you to make a decision. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Make a decisive choice to leave behind the habits that are holding you back, and most importantly, begin using your time in a way that honors your potential. Because, my friend, time is running out, and every second counts. We've already talked about time being our most valuable resource and the importance of overcoming fear and procrastination. Now, I want to focus on something even more vital: your purpose. Let me ask you something. Why are you here? What do you truly want to accomplish in this life? I'm not talking about what society expects from you or what your friends and family think you should do. I'm talking about what your heart is telling you, what it's yearning for. Time becomes truly meaningful when it's aligned with your purpose. Without a clear sense of purpose, even the busiest days can feel empty. But when you have a defined purpose, every moment is filled with meaning, even the simplest ones. Let me tell you a story. Many years ago, I met a man who worked long, exhausting hours every single day. He was making good money, but he was drained and deeply unsatisfied. One day, I asked him, "Why do you do what you do?" He looked at me, completely perplexed. He had never actually asked himself that question. The only thing he knew was that he had to pay his bills. That conversation completely changed his perspective. I told him, "If you don't find a greater purpose, time will continue to slip away, and when you look back, you'll realize you never truly lived." You know what he did? He quit his job and started pursuing something he was genuinely passionate about. It wasn't easy. There were challenges and sacrifices along the way, but for the first time in his life, he felt that every day was worth it. Now, I want you to think about yourself. Are you living with purpose, or are you merely existing? Are you dedicating your time to something that truly matters to you, or are you just drifting along? This brings me to another crucial point. Time is like a garden. What you plant today, you will harvest tomorrow. If you plant excuses, distractions, and mediocrity, don't be surprised if your garden is empty or overrun with weeds. But if you plant effort, focus, and determination, the fruits you will reap will be extraordinary. Now, I want you to do an exercise with me. Imagine your life 10 years from now. Close your eyes for a moment and visualize how you want it to be. Where are you? What are you doing? Who is by your side? Now ask yourself, are the things I'm doing today bringing me closer to that vision or taking me further away? If you feel like you're moving away from it, don't worry. It's not too late to change course, but you must start now. Not tomorrow, now. And here's the key. Change doesn't have to be monumental. Sometimes it's the small daily decisions that make the biggest difference. Pick up that book instead of watching another episode on TV. Get up early to work on your personal project. Say yes to an opportunity even if you're afraid. Life doesn't change overnight, but every day is an opportunity to build something bigger. Let me share a quote that has always inspired me. Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. Think about that. The minor discomforts you experience when you push yourself today are nothing compared to the regret of looking back and realizing you wasted your life, because that's what happens with time. You can never recover it. There are no second chances for the seconds that have already passed. But the beautiful thing is that you still have the present, and as long as you have the present, you have power. There's another important lesson I want you to remember. Time isn't just about what you do, but who you share it with. We often become so preoccupied with chasing after goals that we lose sight of what truly matters. The people we love, the relationships that nourish our souls. Don't waste your time on harmful relationships, pointless arguments, or individuals who fail to appreciate your presence. Spend your time with those who truly matter, because in the end, what you'll remember most won't be your achievements, but the moments you shared with the people you care about. Now, I want to leave you with a concrete action. Today, not tomorrow, not next week, grab a piece of paper and write down 3 things you genuinely want to accomplish before the year ends. Then, write down 1 step you can take today to get closer to each of them. Don't overthink it. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to take that first step. Remember, time is ticking, but you have the power to decide where you're headed. Will you run towards your dreams, your purpose, and a life that's truly worth living? Because time doesn't wait for anyone. We've already discussed the value of time, the importance of having a purpose, and how small daily actions can shape a meaningful life. Now, let's talk about something even more foundational, your mindset. Everything you do, every decision you make, every action you take starts in one place, your mind. If you want to change how you use your time, you first need to change how you think. Let me share a personal story. When I was young, I had big dreams, but I had no idea how to reach them. I felt lost, frustrated, as though I was running in circles. One day, my mentor, Sam Berns, told me something that completely altered my perspective. Jim, if you want things to change for you, you have to change. If you want your life to improve, you have to improve. It was a hard pill to swallow, but it was also a wake-up call. I realized that I couldn't blame anyone else for how I was using my time. I couldn't blame my boss, my friends, or the circumstances. If I wanted a different life, I had to start with myself. And that's what I want you to understand today. Your mindset is the key to transforming how you use your time. First, you need to adopt an abundance mindset. What does this mean? It means stopping the habit of focusing on what you don't have and starting to appreciate what you do have. You have 24 hours each day. You may not have all the resources, connections, or experience you would like, but you have time. And as long as you have time, you have a chance. Second, you need to develop a growth mindset. Many people stop moving forward because they believe they're not good enough, or that they don't have the talent or skills to reach their goals. But let me tell you something. You don't need to be perfect to begin. All you need is to start, and along the way, you'll improve. See, success isn't a single event. It's the accumulated result of small, consistent daily improvements. Each day you decide to learn something new. Each day you push yourself just a little further. You're building a solid foundation for the future. Third, you need a mindset of gratitude. This might seem simple, but it's incredibly powerful. When you're grateful for what you already have, you start seeing time as a gift, not a burden. Instead of complaining about what you can't do, you focus on what you can do. Now, I want you to think about something. What thoughts are dominating your mind? Are they thoughts of possibility, hope and action, or are they filled with doubt, fear and excuses? Here's the truth. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you don't have time, that you can't, that you don't know how, then that's exactly what you will experience. But if you change your inner narrative, if you start telling yourself, I have time for what matters, I can learn, I can improve, then your reality will begin to shift. Let me give you an example. I once heard someone say, I don't have time to read books. Can you imagine? But then I discovered that the same person spent hours every day watching TV or scrolling through social media. It wasn't that they didn't have time. It was that they weren't prioritizing correctly. So I want you to do something. For the next few days, track how you use your time. Write down everything, from how much time you spend working to how much time you spend on activities that don't contribute to your goals. Then, ask yourself, is this bringing me closer to my goals or is it taking me further away? Don't underestimate the power of this exercise. When you're aware of how you're using your time, you can start making real, effective changes. Now, I know that change isn't easy. Inertia is powerful. But what's even more powerful is your ability to take control, to make a conscious decision to use your time in a way that supports the life you want to build. The key is awareness and the willingness to take small steps in the right direction every day. Time is precious, but with the right mindset, you have the ability to make it work for you. It may feel easier to stay where you are and continue doing the same things you've always done, but let me remind you of something. Comfort is the enemy of progress. If you want something greater for your life, you need to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. And this is where the true power of action comes into play. It doesn't matter how motivated you feel right now. It doesn't matter how many brilliant ideas you have. The only thing that matters is what you do with that motivation. Because motivation without action is like a car without fuel. It doesn't go anywhere. So today, I challenge you to take immediate action. Not tomorrow, today. It doesn't have to be a monumental leap. It can be something small, like reading a chapter of a book, jotting down your goals, or simply turning off the television and using that time to do something more meaningful. The key is to start. Remember, every action you take is a declaration of who you aspire to become, and every moment you let slip away is a missed opportunity that will never return. Time, my friend, keeps moving forward, and it's up to you to decide whether you'll use it to create the life you desire or to regret the life you could have lived. Now that we've explored the importance of mindset and action, let's take a moment to reflect on one of the biggest time traps: excuses. Do you know what separates those who accomplish great things from those who don't? It's not intelligence, it's not talent, and it's not luck. The difference is the ability to set excuses aside and take full responsibility for their lives. Excuses are comforting. They protect us, they provide us with a reason not to try. But they also imprison us in an invisible cage, a cage where time keeps slipping by and nothing changes. I hear excuses all the time. I don't have enough time. I don't have the resources. I don't have the experience. I'm too tired. While these reasons might seem valid at the time, deep down, you know they're just stories you tell yourself to justify why you're not taking action. Let me share a story with you. A friend of mine often talked about his dream of writing a book. He had brilliant ideas, and he even began writing the first few pages on multiple occasions. But every time, he found an excuse to stop. He didn't have enough time. He wasn't sure it would be good enough. He doubted anyone would care to read it. One day, I told him something that completely changed his outlook. You know what's worse than writing a book that no one reads? Not writing it at all and never knowing what could have happened. That was the spark he needed. Today, his book is published and it has impacted the lives of thousands of people. But it all began when he set aside his excuses and took decisive action. Now, I want you to think about your own excuses. Be honest with yourself. What stories are you telling yourself to justify why you're not going after your dreams? Write them down, look at them, and then ask yourself, are these excuses really more important than my future? What I want you to understand is this: there will always be reasons not to do something. There will always be obstacles, challenges, and moments of uncertainty. But there will also be reasons to keep moving forward if you choose to look for them. One of my favorite quotes is, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse. And that's what I want you to do. Find a way. You might not have all the answers right now, but that's okay. The first step is to decide to take action and move forward, even if you don't know every detail. Your future is waiting, and it all starts with the decision to leave behind the excuses and take responsibility for the life you want to build. You may not have a clear picture of exactly how to reach your goals, and that's perfectly fine. You don't need to have everything figured out to begin your journey. All that matters is taking that initial step. Consider this. Every monumental accomplishment throughout history began with someone willing to try, even when they lacked the strength or certainty to do it all. You don't need all the guarantees of success to begin. Don't wait for everything to be perfect, because that perfect moment doesn't exist. The only thing you have is now. You know what else I've learned about excuses? Many times they are driven by fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. But here's the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is an integral part of the road to success. Every time you fail, you learn something new. Every time you stumble, you become stronger. And every time you confront your fears, you move one step closer to becoming the person you were meant to be. So here's what I want you to do. Take one of those excuses you've been holding onto and confront it. If your excuse is, I don't have time, find 1 hour today to work on your goal. If your excuse is, I don't know how to start, seek out a mentor, read a book, or take a course that can guide you. If your excuse is, I'm afraid, do it anyway. But remember, time keeps ticking, and every minute you spend clinging to an excuse is a minute you could be investing in building your future. Life doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't wait for your fears to disappear, and it doesn't wait for you to have everything figured out. Life moves forward, and it's up to you to decide whether you move forward with it or stay behind. I want you to take this idea to heart. No matter where you are right now, no matter how much time you think you've wasted, you still have the opportunity to change your story. You still have the chance to do something extraordinary with the time you have left. But you have to begin today. Throughout this message, we've discussed the importance of time, mindset, action, and eliminating excuses. Now, let's bring everything together with a powerful realization: the urgency of living with intention. Let me ask you something. How many moments have you let slip by waiting for the perfect time? How many times have you said, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I still have time"? It's easy to fall into the illusion that time is limitless, but let me remind you of a harsh truth. Time is not infinite. Every day that passes is one less day. Every hour you waste is an hour you will never get back. And here's the real challenge. Are you using that time to build a life you love, or are you just letting the days slip by? I want you to make this promise to yourself today. I will never let another day pass without purpose. The urgency of living. I once knew a man who would always say, "When I have more money, I'll start my business. When I have more time, I'll focus on my family. When I feel more prepared, I'll chase my dreams." Do you know what happened? He never did any of those things. The money came, but he never felt it was enough. Time passed, but he never found it. And when he finally decided he was ready, he no longer had the energy or opportunities he once had. I don't want that to be your story. I don't want you to reach the end of your life full of regret, thinking of all the things you could have done, but never did. Here's the reality. You don't need more time, more money, or more preparation to begin. All you need is the decision to start now, the choice to change. Life is not defined by your circumstances. It's defined by the decisions you make. And the most important decision you can make is this: I am going to live intentionally. Living intentionally means being fully aware of how you use each moment. It means choosing your priorities thoughtfully, saying no to things that don't matter, and saying yes to what truly holds meaning. I want you to think about your priorities right now. Are you investing time in what truly matters? Are you dedicating time to your goals, your relationships, your personal growth? If the answer is no, then this is your call to action. It's never too late to start, but the best time to start is always now. The power of your legacy. Finally, I want you to think about your legacy. When all is said and done, what do you want to leave behind? Do you want to be remembered as someone who lived with purpose, who made the most of every moment, and who left the world better than they found it? Your legacy isn't built in a single day, it's created day by day. Every decision, every action, every moment counts. Time is slipping away, but you have the power to choose how you use it. You can decide. You can either squander it on distractions, justifications, and complacency, or you can choose to invest it in creating something remarkable, something that embodies the best version of yourself. To conclude, I want you to carry this with you. Life is not about how much time you have, but what you choose to do with it. Every day presents a fresh opportunity to live intentionally, to create, to evolve, and to love. Yes, take action, rise up, and don't let another day pass without achieving something meaningful, because time is fleeting and life waits for no one. The real question is, what are you going to do with the time you have left? Time, once lost, can never be regained, so make every moment count. Will you let it slip by, or will you use it to build the life you truly desire, one filled with purpose and achievement?